Alright, this has been brought to my attention, so I'll give you guys a clue of why you shouldn't play Chromehounds, right? Why you shouldn't join, right? So the idea is, you know, you want to run out there and you want to buy a PC and you know you want to play Chromehounds, right? For all these people that are discovering this game is back. Now, if you have an opinion that is loud, they will not like it. They will kick you off, right? So I posted a build video like 6 days ago on my channel, right? Now, what they did is they then kicked. So the radmin that you join, they can kick you off the radmin. So the radmin is something that they can just boot you off, and you know you basically kind of do nothing about it. Like you can really rejoin it, and then kick you off. Now, there's other Chromehounds players that have said, "Yo, I'm in the Chromehounds server, blah de blah." Now, realistically, there's got to be two takes on Chromehounds. This is how this game has to go if anyone has to play this game. The people that are in power, that believe the power is theirs, the game is theirs, it needs to be removed. The power needs to be removed off the individual. No matter the voice, the ethnicity, no matter if someone's black, white, Hispanic, from America, the UK, you know, the Netherlands, don't matter where the individual is from, right? The idea to kick or the power to boot anybody offline on fact of opinion, loudness, you know, basically whatever accusations you want to make against the individual, like the idea that you can go out and do that and kick people out is realistic. The reason why that is because you fear the individual. You fear the individual. The individual is sat there, you know, I went on the computer, seen a comment, had a look at the radmin, and I was like, oh, I'm disconnected from the radmin. I literally said this, you know, on the build video, that I would make the build video, and then they would kick me off. They kicked me off, right? So they kicked me off. Now, you then kick that individual off again, because, you know, they may be doing a build video, or they may be on the game, or they may be on the server. Now, the idea to dictate who can play the game and who can't play the game is another fact of opinion, right? Now, people that may be rushing out to buy a computer to play Chromehounds, or, you know, if you're somebody that has a higher ranking of this game, right? So as you know, like League of Legends. League of Legends is a game where if you reach Challenger, right, your games take an hour to get a game. Well, the thing is back in the day, you know, where you're a high-skilled player, you have many players that will tend to avoid you on the game. They won't play against you. You know, I have a video, you know, because people have been subscribing to the channel, and, you know, people are making comments on the videos, which, you know, I've seen, right? You know, like, Hyro's back, you know, it'd be good to speak to you on Discord, you know. I sent you a friend's request. So, there may be people avoiding, you know, speaking or even associating with players that aren't in the server. I don't know if these guys have created any rules that you can't speak to anybody other than the Chromehounds history, regardless of the Chromehounds history of the individual with someone else. Like, for example, I have history with like Lightning Hyro, you know, me and we having like fights on the game, back and forwards. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I like the individual behind the camera, right? The individual that's playing the game. I like the individual, regardless of what shit goes on, right? Now, if there's someone I don't like, and I voice my opinion that I don't like them, a lot of people, you know, tend that they don't like somebody, or, you know, somebody doesn't like somebody else. Now, the channel is growing, so people are listening to me. This is the thing. I have the voice. I have the voice. So, you know what? So, the voice is I have the power, yeah? I have the power right now. Because, like, let's say, for example, I said on the videos, you know, oh, these guys are sweating every game, blah de blah, right? And now, you know, something's happened where they may be like changing something or whatever, because, you know, maybe the players that are playing with someone else want to play with someone else, right? So they're like kind in, I don't know, something about splitting something or something, I don't know, right? So the idea of, regardless of this game, and you're going out there to buy, you know, a computer and flipping cockpits and, you know, flipping this pit, and they're like, oh, no, it's not It's not bullshit and it's not OP. It is OP. It is bullshit, and you know it is. But because it's a bug and exploit, and you know, some people are trying to argue, well, you need 2 spaces. Well, you don't, because you can delete the spacer, right? Now, there could be videos I could literally posted on the game on broken builds that I've made, like a double bastard with a commander. Broken build. Broken, right? Would never be able to be done on the original game. Never be played on the original game. The city battles are good, right? But there's people... The thing is there's people watching, right? Now, the idea of me being on this game, right? Realistically, the reason why they fear me is because I'm the challenger player. I'm the challenger player like League of Legends. When it comes to Chromehounds, I am the challenger individual. When you play against me, you will realise that it's very difficult to win. Right? There's only 2 people that used to be able to take games off me, and both of those people I used to speak to and respect as players that played this game, and I played with them. Yeah, so they knew how I played. To kick anybody off a game that you think you own is another question. Right? Now, why I'm making this video? I'm making this video because the Radmin is even me looking at the Radmin. They can boot you off the Radmin, so you ain't going to get on the game anyway. Right? The idea is, you know, a server. If I create a server, will I kick anybody off the server? No. Because everyone is entitled to play the game. Regardless of fact, ethnicity, don't matter if you're black, white, whatever. Don't matter. Everyone is down there, yeah, to be able to play the game. Regardless if some guy's running a server or what. But if I run a server, yeah, and I play the game, do you not think that my voice right now is powerful on YouTube? Because why are people sitting there? Why are the views ticking up on the videos? And I'm not even looking at this channel right now. Like, I would literally been on TikTok fucking around doing videos, doing lives, you know, been messing around on other apps. And I log into the computer and I log on the video and I'm like, yeah, man's got a comment, man's replied to me, yeah? So this is the thing. When you get a reply, you know, a Google mail, and you're like, yo, somebody's replied, and you're like, boom, let's check who it is, right? And then, you know, you connect with some old people that you played with this game with. Because the matter of the fact is, there's other videos I can post on Chromehounds about exactly about when you die and no one says anything and people are raging, you know, people are raging about this happens, this, you know, and it gives you a prime example of where Mobius in a video dies and he doesn't say anything. He literally says anything. And Gino at the end of the game is like, Mobius, how'd you fucking die? The sniper sucks, right? Like, yeah, they shit talk. Everyone shit talks. If you're bad on Call of Duty, right, you know the thing is, I used to play scrims on that game with literally people that used to play, right? After like 2011, we used to play pro level COD 4. Pro level COD 4, right? We played with people that was literally in the top tournaments, right? Like, I played with individuals that was in the top tournaments on Call of Duty, right? Me and this guy called Connor, right? Me and Connor knows my channels. I have Connor on Discord. Me and Connor was #1 on game battles, yeah, on MLG, yeah? He was #1 on 2v2s, right? #1 for the season. But you win a fucking little trophy and game battles shut down, right? Game battles shut down. We won on that game. We're fucking feared players. You imagine Downey, yeah? Downey was like one of the best players on Call of Duty, right? And he literally was trying to claim games against us that he won when we had video evidence of us winning, right? And this was like one of the best known players on that game at that time, was literally challenger rank, right? So like I said, there's people on this game that fear the individual, right? There's nobody on this game right now. There's like there's like one guy right now that literally has the skill level of me. That's it, right? And it makes me laugh that these guys kick you off and whatever, but there's still people watching the videos, listening to me, the channel's growing. You know, I have the power, bro, because I have the voice. Now, the idea of you guys, right, you're saying, you know, being able to, because I could literally put, like, the Radmin on the video, right, of them, like, you know, of them removing you off the Radmin. But obviously, you know, there's a player restriction amount, right? But they obviously can't get many players on the game because there's a restriction amount. So maybe later on, you know, if you run a server, would I kick people off the server? I wouldn't kick people off the server. I don't give a fuck who you are and who you're playing the game, right? You know, realistically, this video is like 10 minutes long, which is jokes, because it's still the same thing. Is people could be like, oh, you're still mad that they've kicked you off the admin. I just want to point this out on YouTube, that this is happening behind the scenes, and then, you know, you want to run out and buy a PC. You know, if you have a disagreement with these guys or whatever, you know, you might get booted off, and then you might get banned, or you might get finger, and they don't have the right to ban anybody, right? Realistically, they don't have the right to ban anybody. But anyway, we knew that this would be the case, right? So anyway, we'll end up wrapping up the video. I'm going to post a video about the other videos that I was going to post anyway, right? This one's kind of like just a spin-off vid for today, but we'll see you in the next one. Peace.